So 2 years later, I went for one of those appointments, and he said, "Donnellyn, you're a mystery to me." And I went, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because you're in my office." I said, No, I had an appointment." He said, "That's not what I mean.
You're
Shouldn't be
still
alive.
living.
Yeah, you should not be alive. What you have does not go away, and you don't get well."
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the weekly ASEA talk. Today, we're really very honored to have Donnellyn Dominguez as our guest, our VIP guest. She has come from a background as a certified licensed nurse midwife who had owned and operated a natural birthing center for years and helping many pregnant women to bring to the world the new life. That's especially something to think about in the Christmas season. As we were talking about how God meant to have these new babies delivered to the earth. But a few years ago, while she was battling some personal health conditions, she was presented with this thing called ASEA, the salt water from Salt Lake City, which at first she really was very skeptical about. But we're going to hear her to tell her story, how she turned from a skeptic to a believer, and then became was that the 2023 business creator of the
Business
year,
builder of the year, yes.
creator builder of the year. So first, Donnelly, could you tell us a little bit about your health situation?
I became a midwife almost 21 years ago and owned a birth center for 10 of those years. Practiced solo practice around that before and after. But actually, once I sold my birth center, I became full-time in the education of redox signaling molecules. The reason I wanted to do that is because in 2015, I discovered that there was a bad place on my leg that the doctor said needed to be operated on right away, that it was urgent. So we did that, and I thought it would be a little bitty thing, but actually it turned into about a 6-inch incision, and they said everything was fine. But about a year later, a lump appeared above my incision. And when I went back to have it checked, they said, "I'm so sorry, the problem has returned and we're going to do surgery again." And I went, "No, we're not till I have someone look and make sure it's not anywhere else," because it had traveled and I didn't want them to just keep cutting parts of me off. So when I went to a specialty doctor and they ran some scans, they said, "Yeah, bad news. It has moved into your lungs and your condition is terminal. And we can give you an extra 8 to 13 months if you do our protocol." But that was 4 treatments, one every 6 weeks. And they were $150,000 each, US money. And I had insurance, but that usually doesn't pay 10 to 15%. So it was still going to be quite expensive. So I began that. I did the protocol, and the first 2 treatments were pretty okay. They didn't bother me too much. But the third one put me in ICU because it killed my pituitary. And without a pituitary gland, you cannot survive. It makes cortisol, and you have to have cortisol to live on a daily basis. So they put me on medication to replace the cortisol, but it wore off about 6 o'clock every night. And when it did, I had to go to bed. I did not have a choice. So I lived like that for 16 months while I tried every natural remedy out there. And you all know there are so many things. You see them every day in all kinds of advertisements. This does this, this does this. So there's so many, and I tried so many. I spent another $20,000 on those, and nothing helped. So to say I was skeptical is an understatement. I was very, very skeptical. So my nutritionist in May of 17 gave me a bottle of Redox, and she signed me up for a case a month and a tube of gel. And she said it was going to make me feel so wonderful, so full of light, so grounded. And yes, so anyway, I took the package home. I tasted the Redox, and it tasted like salt water. I mean, like swimming pool water to me. And so I thought I had been scammed. And it made me mad, but I was not well. I was having to work the whole time that I did not feel well. I didn't have any energy. My body was strictly working on steroids, and I felt terrible. I had a lot of damage from the treatments that they had done, so I was pretty sick. And so I wouldn't drink the product. I wouldn't answer the phone. I wouldn't respond to text. The upline of the lady that actually signed me up was trying to get in touch with me and explain what I had, but I just thought they were trying to fish in my pond. And so I just kept ignoring them. And I know it's so rude, and that's not who I normally am, but I was not well.
How,
So
how long did this go on?
from
From
the
when you've got your
from
first bottle until?
May, yeah, May 6th or something like that until December 4th is when I finally answered the phone.
Uh-huh.
And Jim explained to me, Jim Glenn
Mhm.
explained to me what it was, what it does, said it couldn't hurt anything. It's 100% non-toxic, and sent me the videos that I use now when I share. And so I said, okay, I'm going to drink this, not because I believe you. I don't believe you. That sounds too good to be true. So it probably is, but I'm going to drink this to prove to you that it's not going to work, just like everything else hadn't worked. I had a very bad attitude. And so he said, okay, that's fine. And so after I looked at the material, I said, okay, if a little is good, more is better. So I began to drink 2 ounces twice a day, and then not with anyone's recommendation. I just began to increase. I was going to get rid of those 28 bottles, show him it didn't work, and have him leave me alone. That was my lofty goal. So I began to drink 2 ounces twice a day, and then I increased it about 4 ounces every few days. And in about 3 weeks, I was drinking a quart a day, and 28 to 32 ounces a day. And
That's almost a whole bottle.
it is a whole bottle.
Right.
And so I was wrapping Christmas presents one night right before Christmas, and my husband came in and said, do you know what time it is? I had been in bed at 6 o'clock or between 6 and 6:30 every night for 16 months. And I said, no, I don't have any idea. And he said, it's 11 o'clock. And I went, it's 11 o'clock and I'm still awake and I feel good. He said, it's 11 o'clock. So I went to bed praying, God, please don't tease me. Don't let me get my hopes up and then be disappointed again, because I knew emotionally and mentally I couldn't handle it. So I promised, if you're using these redox molecules, I didn't even understand it really, to help my body heal, I'll tell everybody and I'll give you all the glory. So that was 7 years ago on December 4th of this month. And I have never had a bad report from the doctors again. 2 years later, I told the doctor I would come for scans and blood work, but I would never take any more of their medicine. And so 2 years later, I went for one of those appointments, and he said, "Donnellyn, you're a mystery to me." And I went, "Why's that?" And he said, "Because you're in my office." I said, "No, I had an appointment." He said, "That's not what I mean. You
You're
shouldn't be
still
alive."
living.
Yeah, you should not be alive. What you have does not go away, and you don't get well. But your scans are perfect, and your labs are perfect, and I don't understand. And I said, "Well, I've had a lot of people praying, but do you remember me telling you about redox signaling molecules?" He said, "Oh, yeah, you can take that stuff if you want to." I went, "Well, no problem, I'm going to." And of course, I still am. And then I used the product with my pregnant mamas, because what else did I have that was 100% non-toxic and helps your body correct any situation that's not working the way it should. That's what redox signaling molecules do.
Now,
And
could you go back to your own health for a little bit? And that's
sure.
so you increased it to a bottle a day over the course of about 3 weeks, and you felt much better. And then in the subsequent visits to the doctor's office, and during that whole time, you've been drinking a bottle a day, or did you cut back to a small amount?
No, I didn't cut back.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so good for the first time in so many years. I
Mm-hmm.
just kept drinking it. And I didn't do it in a real regimented way, this many ounces at this time. I was still working.
Uh-huh.
So I'm delivering babies.
Yeah.
Uh, some of my weeks were 60, 80, 90 hours long. And so I just drank it throughout the day. But yes, I stayed at probably about that amount. And I'm not a whole lot lower than that now. I
Mm-hmm.
still drink more than probably is recommended, but I feel great. I
Okay.
feel like I'm aging backwards, and
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna jeopardize that.
So
So
you are still drinking close to a bottle a day. Yeah.
no, I drink about 16, sometimes 20 ounces.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's the part about how you what you experience with your health, and it's been 9 years, right? Since
Seven,
7?
7 years.
Okay. So
7 years since I found redox.
okay. So
She gave it to
2017.
me in May, but I did not start drinking it until December. So
Mhm.
this month is my 7th year anniversary.
Of enjoying very good health. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.